Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Wanted to connect with you guys because I was going over a couple of things with some of my investors and I was sharing with them how I look at a deal and how I know I'm going to make us money. So when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at a couple of things. There's actually four things that I'm looking at very specifically. I talk about all the different ways that you make money when you invest in real estate, but I wanted to share with you what I share with my investors, whether you're going to invest with me in Bell Capital or you're going to go invest on your own. This is what someone like myself that is a fund manager looks at when we're looking at allocating money into a deal, a real estate deal that's cash flowing. So let's just use some of the deals that we look at. But we'll start off with a simple property that's $40 million. So if we think we're going to get the property for 40 million, right? That's what we're going to buy the property for. This is the property. I'm thinking we're going to put down 40% on this deal, which is 40%, 40% down. Right. So when I'm looking at a deal, I'm always like, hey, how do we double or triple the 16 million if we bought a deal? Right. So our debt on the deal is going to be 24 million, roughly. Right. This is going to be the debt. This is the equity on that deal. So big points about this is because if I think this property is going to be able to support the debt, myself, back of napkin math, and our finance guy, right? Like our bigger people who are going to be able to fund these deals. We already understand that my target on any deal, when I'm looking at a deal, is to get 5% on our 16 million. Right? I'll just write it right here. I want you guys to track this with me so you understand this. So, when I'm going into a deal, either I'm going to get to it within year one or very shortly after that, I'm like, hey, how closely can we get to getting to about 5% on our money? Like that's my target on any deal that I'm looking at. So 16,000, you take this times 5%. My goal is for us to make at least 800,000 on our money, right? So $800,000 a year, that's what we're looking to get. Now, you as an investor, you're not going to do anything for that. We're going to be managing the properties if you're going to invest. But let's just say we all got together. We're going to be making $800,000 a year on this property. And let's say, from my thought, I always underwrite this way. Let's say we're going to be in this deal for 10 years, right? We're going to be in there for 10 years. So right away, we're automatically going to get $8 million over the whole period, which is cash flow, over and above our debt. This is one. This is our cash flow. That's what we're looking to get. Right. So next, outside of the cash flow that we're looking to get, and like I said, the goal is, let's say we did nothing to this property. We thought we were going to hit 5% in return on our money that we invested, the 16 million. And we did nothing. Didn't raise the rents, which is crazy for me to think that we're not going to constantly be raising the rents. But let's say, that's my expectation, 5%. We're going to make 18 million on our money, right? So that's almost 50%. We're going to get 50% of our money back already after 10 years. So we already got that part back. Now, the next piece, let's say we're going to raise the rents on these properties. And let's say on this property, let's just say this is a 100-unit deal. And we're going to raise the rents on 100 units. And we'll use what I share all the time, because rents have went up in the United States and America since 1945 on the average. Let's just say 3%. So over 10 years, that's a 30% increase. Let's say the rents at this property are $2,000. All right. So let's just say, usually on any deal I look at, my thought process is, let's say 2,000 times 30%. That's $600. So on 100 units, can we raise the rents on this property over a 10-year period by $600, $60 a year, right? On the average. And some properties we look at, we can raise the rents in these properties somewhere around $100 a month over time, and just getting into them because they're undervalued rents. Like they're still affordable. We think we can raise the rents $100, $75, $200, depending on the actual deal. But for this purpose, $600 on the rents times 100 units, that's $60,000 additional income a month times 12 months. That's $720,000, right? So that's an additional 720 across the board, 720,000, right? Now, you do that. Let's say we don't, let's say we only do that for 5 of the 10 years we're in them. So 5 years, that's 3.6 million, right? For 10 years. right? Now we've made another 3.6 million just in this one deal alone. Now this time we managed the property. It's a long-term investment. We got $8 million plus another $3.6 million. We've already made 11, just with this play alone, 11.6 million, right? So we're almost made whole in this specific deal. That's crazy because now we have just our regular cash flow that we just expect. Let's say we bought a deal, we get to 5%, hit our target return, and we kept this deal for 10 years, we would have made $8 million and we put down 16. So we're already halfway there. Now we raised the rents $600 across the board over this 100-unit property, but we did that in over 10 years. And I think we cut that down to half, didn't we? So 5 years. We only did that for 5 years. Yep, is that right? Let me make sure, check my math, because sometimes I can get ahead of myself. So we did 600 times 100 times 12. Yep, that's right. And then we did that times 10 divided by 2. Yeah, 3.6. So we're good. So I'm okay with going back and checking my math, right? It's important because you always want to do your back of napkin math, but you want to make sure you're on point about that. So we did that for 5 years, right? So we got 3.6 million back to us, right? It puts us at $11.6 million. How much did we put down on this deal? 16 million. So we're almost back at our money. So now let's say we knew we bought the property for 1.4 million. But if we were to take the additional revenue that we made on that deal, 720,000, 720 times or let's divide that by, let's say our cap rate is we're using a 5 cap. That's a $14 million increase in value. 14 million, right? 14.4 as a matter of fact. $14 million increase in value. So that would mean that worst case scenario, we've increased the value of our property because what do we buy it for? We bought it for this, but we owe 24 million. So we bought it for 40 million. So 40 million. Now the value of our property is at 554 $54.4 million. That's the new increased value. The new increased value of our property is 54.4 million on our deal. And remember, we've already made 11.6 million. You see that? Ink pen's dropping, my ink's dying. But yeah, 11 million of our money back over this time period. That's 10 years, right? So we've already made 11.6 million. The increased value of our property based on the increasing of the rents put us at 54 million. Now, the other piece that we do is I go back to the bank and I'm like, hey, based on the new revenue of the property, what do we say our last revenue of the property was? If I go back here, right? So we were at I didn't really say what we were for the what you call it, but we know we'll just go with our increased value. We went 54 mil, 54 for times let's say we got 68%, 3.9. I'm sorry. We did 54 million, 5440 times, let's say I went back to the bank and asked them to give me a 68% loan to value. They would give us 36 million, 36.9. And what do we they'll give us 36.9, 36.9 million in new debt. New debt. That's starting to get a little janky in my writing, right? And new debt here. And remember, our first loan was only 24 million. right? So that said, we'll be able to take that loan out. So minus 24 million leaves 12.9, leaves $12.9 million in cash, right? And that's a non-taxable event. So that said, and then we would be looking at distributing, and naturally I get a piece of that from managing the property. But this right here would be a non-taxable event to us. We would distribute because this 39 million will replace this $24 million loan. We get a new loan, right? We would have already made $11.6 million as it relates to revenue, cash flow, and we would get an injection. I would go ahead on and give my investors a portion of all of the money that we put down, right? So this total amount that we would be looking at in this specific scenario is, if I go back to that, so we got 12.9 plus 11.6. Woo! 24.5 is what we've made on this specific deal. Now we still own the deal. All I did was take the property, raise the rents, right? Raise the revenue. We were already getting cash flow. Then I put my attention on raising the new revenue. We all got cash flow there. Then that new income that I created on that specific rent raise, because they go off of the new increased value of the property based on the income, right? That raised the value of the property. I went back to the bank rather than selling the property and then refinance the property based on the new income, substantiating it, taking care of people. I can tell exactly what the rents are going to be, pushing this out into the future because we got 12-month leases, 12 months rent. Great location on this specific property. The value is going up in the area. The rents are going up in the area. And they go, sure, Victor, we think the property will be worth 54.4 million and we'll give you a 68% loan to value. That's not too high. That's not too low. That is the perfect spot. It's below 70% loan to value. And we'll give you a new debt of 36.9 million. Take out this. And oh, by the way, there's $12.9 million left over. Where do you want me to send that? Hey, I'm going to distribute that to myself and my investors. We're going to get our money. We're going to get some more of our money back, our initial investments, and we're going to keep this property and still cash flow. That's the benefit. That's what I'm looking at. So there's a couple of different ways I'm looking at it. And I know I went through this pretty quick. I'll go through this later. But first, the cash flow just when we get it. When we buy a property, my goal is to get us to 5% return on our money, right? That's this. That's just cash flow as it sits. Next, we raise the rents of the property. Now I start increasing. There's a new incremental raise on the revenue that comes in. That's my job, right? $600 across the board, across the property over 10 years. But let's say we can't get it for the full 10 years. We only got it for 5. So we have this, but we have this increase of 5 years also. That became 3.6. Now, when we took a look at this piece here, we're like, hey, man, this is what this actually totaled out to be right here. Like, so we've made a good hunk of money on this specific deal. Now, and then we said that this was the increased value that went into the property. And then we took that increased property, we took the property back to the lender and say, hey guys, here's what I'm thinking. I believe our property is worth $54 million. Here's why. We raised the rents, we've taken care of people. Here's the financials. Here's a stabilized property. Over the last 10 years, we've been owning this property, managing the property, doing a great job with the asset. It's doing great, paying you guys on time. You guys are a great partner. I'm a great partner. We want to go ahead and refinance our property and pull some cash out. They're like, oh, okay, cool. I got it. So they're going to go ahead, take a look at it. They're going to refinance it based on 68%. What did I say? 68% LTV, right? This new thing that we did. So we got a new loan now for 36.9 million. That's the new financing that we put in place, cashed out. The original financing of 24 million, and there's a remainder of $12.9 million left out to cash to send back to my investors, and we stay in the deal together and continue to cash flow this deal for longer periods of time. This is how wealth is created. Like I said, that's how it's done. So there's those points that I like to go over with my investors. And again, this is a little splotchy. I usually have, the property there and kind of show some more stuff. But this is the basis of what I'm looking for. How much are we going to make when we get in it? How much can we increase the rents for? What's that new revenue that we're creating? And with that new revenue, we have the new value total, increased value on the property. Now the value of the property is worth this. Can we go back to the lender and get new financing put on it based on the new revenue, new income? How much is that? And will that pay off our last debt and leave some money left over so I can distribute to our investors and we stay in the deal, hold that property for long-term cash flow and wealth creation? Boom. That is how you make money in these deals, man. These deals only really have a couple of scenarios going down with them. But when I'm thinking about it as an investor, how I make money for my investors, this is how I do it. So simply put, this is the game. If you're going to create wealth, this is how it's done. Finding the deals, funding the deals, managing the deals. That's how the big work is done. And I do that work. You don't have to do any of this stuff. I'm just sharing with you how I'm going to turn around and make us money, right? So I hope this makes a lot of sense for you. If it doesn't, look, I know you're probably like, Vic, you know what, man, I get it, but I was a little lost. You went too fast. You went too slow. I get it. I understand, or I didn't understand. Schedule a call with one of us. Go ahead, go to bell-capital.com, hit the schedule a call or book a call, and you spend 5 minutes and get your questions answered with a real live person, either myself or somebody on my team. We want to help you. I want to talk to you. I get it. This right here is the way real wealth is built. This is how banks invest. They take money that they had, where really is your savings, your money, your retirement, and then they invest it with a guy like me, and then they go, cool, how are you going to make us money? And I show them the exact same thing. There's no difference to this. And they're getting the same return, so why not you? Why not you become the wealthy person that you want to be for you, your family, the people that you care about, investing in multifamily assets that income produce, institutional quality assets that do what I'm sharing with you. This is happening all the time, whether you do it with me or not. This is happening. This is what I'm doing. I'm just really just doing it with more people right now. That's my goal. So I hope this helps you. I hope you get a better understanding. It was a lot of scribble scrabble. Go back, watch this again. It'll be here. But I wanted to share with you the ways that we make money for our investors. This is how it's done. This is how you're going to get wealthy. Creating wealth for you, your family, generational wealth. That's what we're doing here at Bell Capital. We want to help the everyday investor do this instead of going off and trying to get institutional partners, hedge fund managers, other private equity. I want to deal with the everyday investor and help people like you, my mom, my dad, my sister, my friends, my buddies, my family, all my employees in the future, everybody to be able to create wealth and cash flow for themselves by doing what we're doing. That's what Bell Capital is about. I've always done this. I'm just able to do it with more people now, like you. All right, so let's talk soon. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this video. If you got comments, leave them in the comment section. We will make sure to answer them one way, shape, or form. If you don't understand this, or if you hate this video, give it a thumbs down. Don't be a hater and a hider at the same time. I really do want to talk to you guys. Subscribe to this video channel. Subscribe to the channel. I want to answer your questions. I want more people to find us. And oh, by the way, find us on Instagram at therealvictorbell.com or therealvictorbell at therealvictorbell on my Instagram, because I want more people to be there too, so I can interact with you guys a lot more. All right. Have a great day today. Let's catch up soon.